Sure.
Yeah, so this is our last video on Nobel Laureate series. So if you guys haven't watched the previous two videos, just go and check out our playlist on that. So let's start with this video.
So before going into the session, shall we say
Yeah,
something of,
sure.
yeah, so I found this quote by Maya Angelou from her poem Still I Rise. So I would like to say that. I
Okay.
quote, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. So this was about overcoming the slavery and also um, having a productive career.
Okay.
Like
That's nice.
just like this poem, we are also presenting an idea that everyone should be resilient and self-affirmed on their career or something like that.
Of
Yeah,
course, this line would definitely be a motivating thing for them.
yeah. So moving on. So in this video, the first writer would be like we are starting from the year 2001. So in the year 2001, it is Sir V.S. Naipaul who got the Nobel Prize. So the times we are going to see is Sir V.S. Naipaul. Ah, his full name would start like Sir Vidyadhar Suraj Prasad Naipaul, and he was born in the 1932 and he lived till 2018. So he's a Trinidadian British writer. Like his grandparents immigrated from India to work as indentured servants in Trinidad's sugar plantation. So he has an ethnicity of Indian origin as well, and he got the Nobel Prize in the year 2001. And Naipaul's father became an English language journalist, contributing articles to the Trinidad Guardian. And Naipaul was also like he belongs to this Nepalese Brahmin Bahun ancestry. He was a novelist, travel writer, and an essayist. And we can see that the first work of Naipaul started in the year 1957. And the title of the work would be The Mystic Measure, which was published in the year 1957. Um, and this novel is also adapted into a film, and it also had the same title. And following that, he has published another novel titled The Suffrage of Elvira in the year 1958, and that is actually a comic novella about a rural election in Trinidad. And so, apart from that, he has also written Miguel Street in the year 1959, and the most famous work of V.S. Naipaul, which acclaimed a worldwide success for him, was the novel A House for Mr. Biswas in the year 1961. So that novel has some autobiographical elements of V.S. Naipaul's life as well, and he dedicated this novel to his wife, the first wife of his, called Patricia. And that is about the novel is about a person named Mohan Biswas who wanted to build a house for himself. So that's the lifelong wish for him, and we can see some sort of autobiographic elements of V.S. Naipaul as well. And following that, he has written The Mimic Men in the year 1967, In a Free State in 1971. So this novel got a Booker Prize also. And following In a Free State, he wrote Gorillas in 1975, and then he wrote Abandon the River in 1979, The Enigma of Arrival in 1987, Away in the World in 1994, Half a Life in 19 Half a Life in the year 2001, and at last he wrote Magic Seeds in the year 2004. So these are his fictional works, and all the novels of V.S. Naipaul have claimed a huge success, and he was very famous for all his novels as well as non-fictions as well. So in terms of non-fictions, the first non-fictional essay written by V.S. Naipaul would be The Middle Passage, subtitled as Impressions of Five Societies, British, French, and Dutch in the West Indies and South America. So it was published in the year 1962. And he also wrote an Indian trilogy, like he wrote a trilogy on India, and the three essays are An Area of Darkness in the year 1964, India, a Wounded Civilization in 1977, and India, A Million Mutinies Now, 1990. So these three contains the Indian autobiography, and this is also a trilogy on India by V.S. Naipaul. And apart from that, he has written An Area of Darkness, as I've said mentioned earlier, and he also wrote The Loss of El Dorado in the year 1969, and he wrote Among the Believers, An Islamic Journey in the year 1981, A Turn in the South in the year 1989, Beyond Belief, Islamic Excursions Among the Converted Peoples in the year 1998. So, apart from that, he has also written critical works. One such would include Conrad's Darkness and Mine. So, that was about Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. So, he criticized that work with his area of darkness, and he published in that work in the year 1970. And one more thing I would like to say about this Conrad's Darkness and Mine is, like, Chinua Achebe wrote An Image of Africa, Racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness. It looks like Joseph Conrad's work has been like multiple times it was criticized by other people. One such would be Noipol and another one would be Chinua Achebe. So apart from that, we can say that in December 1954, in London, Henry Swansea, the producer of a BBC weekly program called Caribbean Voices, hired V.S. Naipaul as a presenter. So V.S. Naipaul is also a kind of a journalist or an anchor for that matter. And it looks like Francis Windham introduced Naipaul to the novelist Anthony Powell, and he helped him to get a part-time job of reviewing books for New Statesman. So Naipaul was also a reviewer for the journal or a periodical New Statesman, and he was also reviewing works on for that magazine as well. And he also, like, we can say that The World is What It Is. So that is actually an authorized biography of V.S. Naipaul by Patrick French. So this is some of the literary and personal aspects of V.S. Naipaul. So this is how Naipaul has grown in his career as a literature writer, something like that.
Yeah, so much works he has written.
Yeah.
Okay, next in 2002 we have a Hungarian writer Imre Kertész. Then in 2003 we have J.M. Coetzee. As we all know, he's from South Africa. So South African Australian novelist and essayist, and so he's very well known for his novels like Waiting for the Barbarians in the year 1980 and The Life and Times of Michael Kay in 1983. Actually, he won the Booker Prize twice, Britain's highest literary award, for the works like Michael Kay and Disgrace. So Coetzee won a second Booker, as we all know, in the year 1999 for his novel Disgrace. So that Disgrace is about a life in post-apartheid South Africa. So he completed work on two novellas he had already begun, which were published in one volume as Dusklands in 1974. Both novellas, the Vietnam Project and the narrative of Jacobus Coetzee, deal with the dilemmas faced by individuals who are in conflict with society. So then Duskland was followed by In the Heart of the Country in the year 1977, published the same year in the United States as From the Heart of the Country. So In the Heart of the Country was republished in US as From the Heart of the Country, which is structured as a diary of a woman declining into insanity. So Waiting for Barbarians, the this story is like for which he works that won South Africa's highest literary honor, the Central News Agency Literary Award. They call it a CNA Literary Award in the year 1980. as did The Life and Times of Michael Kay in the year 1983. So, the story of man's physical and psychological journey through a country at war. So, that is what we will see. We used to see that in that work. So, Coetzee's other works include Foe in the year 1986, then Age of Iron in the year 1990, then and The Master of St. Petersburg in 1994. So, so he also written many a number of essays. Among them are Doubling the Point essays and interviews in the year 1994. Then he has also translated his works like other authors' works like uh, into other languages: Dutch, German, French, and Afrikaans. So that's a language in Africa, I guess. He has also written The Lives of Animals. That's a short story by him in the year 1999. Yeah, that's it about J.M. Coetzee.
Yeah, so he's a very powerful writer of South Africa, it seems.
Yeah,
Moving on, we have Elfriede Jelinek. That's an Austrian name, it seems. So he got the Nobel Prize in the year 2004. He is an Austrian writer. And the next one would be Harold Pinter, who got the Nobel Prize in the year 2005. So his lifespan starts from the year 1930 and he continues to live till 2008. Yeah. So he was a Nobel Prize winning English playwright, screenwriter, director, and an actor. And looks like he started his career as a playwright. And the first play he has ever written was titled as The Room in the year 1957. And that started a new genre of comedy plays called as Comedy of Menace. And his second play was Birthday Party in the year 1957, and that was closed after 8 performances, and but was reviewed by critic Harold Hobson. Yeah. So the early plays of Pinter are described by critics as comedy of menace, and this term menace was actually coined by Irving Warden. Yeah. So the later plays like Betrayal in the year 1978, No Man's Land in the year 1974. So these two plays are called as memory plays of Harold Pinter. So in between that time, he published The Dumb Waiter in the year 1957, The Caretaker in the year 1959, The Homecoming in 1964, Silence in 1968. So all these plays are famous plays of Harold Pinter, and he published all these plays before writing memory plays. Yeah. So after that, he also wrote screenplay for the film version of John Fowles' novel, The French Lieutenant's Woman. So it looks like he was the one who wrote the screenplay for the John Fowles novel as well, and he got Nobel Prize in the year 2005, which I mentioned earlier, and he also got French Legion d'Honneur in 2007. And it looks like he was also an actor, and he continued to act on stage and on screen, and the last performing the title role of Samuel Beckett's one-act monologue, Crab's Last Day. So in 2006, he was the one like who acted on the main role in Samuel Beckett's Crab's Last Day, and he died from liver cancer in the year 2008. Apart from that, Pinter also wrote screenplays for The Last Tycoon, The Handmaid's Tale. So all these are the screenplays written by him, and so yeah, so that these are the works of Harold Pinter, and one of the very minor play of Harold Pinter would be like One for the Road in the year 1984. So that is also one of the minor play of Harold Pinter, and others were the most famous of his literary career, it seems. So yeah, that's about Harold Pinter.
that's nice. Okay, next in 2006, Nobel Award winner is Orhan Pamuk. As we all know, he was born in Istanbul, Turkey, in the year 1952, and he is a living author. He was raised in a Western-oriented family actually, and he studied architecture at Istanbul Technical University before switching to journalism as at Istanbul University. And he studied before he studied architecture, and now I think he teaches as professor of comparative literature and writing at Columbia University. And yeah, then his major works includes Darkness and Light in the year 1982, Mr. Cavdet and His Sons. That was the published title of that work. Next, we have the Silent House. So in the year 1983, then we have the White Castle in the year 1985 that explores themes of identity, then the relationship between East and West through the story of a Venetian scholar and an Ottoman astrologer. Then we have the Black Book that was in the year 1990. It's a complex and multi layered novel that blends mystery, history, and philosophies. It set against the backdrop of Istanbul. Then we have The New Life in the year 1994. Then we have My Name is Red, I think it in the year 1998. It's a historical mystery work set in the 16th century Istanbul, told from the perspectives of various characters, including a dog and a coin. Next, we have Istanbul. It's a memoir in the year 2003. Uh, Also, Snow in the year 2004. So, it's a political novel that examines the complexities of modern day Turkey, including issues of Islamism, secularism, and Kurdish separatism. Also, we have the Museum of Innocence. It's a widely read novel of him in the year 2008, 2007, and 8. It's a novel about a wealthy Istanbul businessman's obsessive love for a woman and his creation of a museum to commemorate their relationship. So while hearing this word relationship, he was also in a relationship with an Indian writer. Do you know the name of her?
Like Kiran Desai, I guess.
Yeah, right. Kiran Desai. So she was also a very prominent Indian
Yeah.
writer. Yeah. And he also wrote Istanbul Memories and the Cities in the year 2005. It's also a memoir that intertwines his personal history with the history of Istanbul, exploring the city's unique character and its influence on his writing. And also, he wrote a historical epic named Knights of Plague in the year 2021. So, that imagines a plague ravaging a fictional island in the Ottoman Empire, exploring themes of power, politics, and the clash between tradition and modernity. He usually write in a style like it has its rich historical detail, then some complex themes he used to deal with. He often examines the tension between tradition and modernity, as we see some of the works that deals with that, East and West, then secularism and religious fundamentalism in Turkish society. So he also won many awards and recognition like International IMPAC Dublin Literary Award for My Name is Red. Also, many more awards and recognition. Also, he's a vocal critic of the Turkish government and has faced legal challenges for his views on issues such as Armenian genocide and Kurdish rights. His works have been translated into many more languages, like over 60 languages. Uh, it got translated. Also, in 2012, he opened the Museum of Innocence in Istanbul, inspired by his novel of the same title. So, yeah, that's it about him.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Doris Lessing. So she got the Nobel Prize in the year 2007. So Doris May Lessing was a British novelist, poet, playwright, librettist, biographer, and a short story writer. So she also used a pen name called Jane Somers, and she used the pseudonym to write The Diary of Jane Somers, The Diary of a Good Neighbor, and If the Old Cloud. So this is some kind of a a kind of a autobiography, we can say. That's why she used the pseudonym Jane Thomas. And the most important novels of Doris Lessing would include The Grasses Singing in the year 1950, The Golden Notebook in 1968, The Good Terrorist in the year 1965. And she has also written collective novels, or like five novels. So her five novels collectively called Canopus in Argos Archives. So that is like for the time span of 1979 to 1983. She wrote five novels that deals with science, and it's mainly with science fiction or space fiction, something like that. And she was the 11th woman and the oldest person ever to receive this Nobel Prize award. And apart from that, we can see that she was like the first novel of Lessing was, as I mentioned earlier, The Grass is Singing. It is something autobiographical because she talked about her experiences in Africa, and it is also made into a movie and titled as Killing Heat in the year 1981. So this Golden Notebook is also some kind of a breakthrough work that evolved in a kind of a proto-feminist work, I guess, because this deals with all kind of feminism and its oppression that women underwent. And by the time of her death, more than 50 of her novels were published. And as I mentioned earlier, her new pseudonym, she published two novels. And apart from that, she also published The Fifth Child in the year 1988. Ben in the World, published in the year 2000, is actually a sequel to The Fifth Child. And she also wrote a collective novel, sequence of five novels called Children of Violence, that started in 1964. A Ripple from the Storm in 1958, Landlocked in 1965, Four Gated City in 1969. And she has also written many dramatic and poetic works. So, namely, the most important would be Each His Own Wilderness in the year 1959 is a drama written by Doris Lessing. Play with the Tiger in 1962 is a drama again written by Doris Lessing. She's also written a non-fictional work called On Not Winning the Nobel Prize. So that was actually her Nobel lecture which she presented when she got this Nobel Award. And she has also written autobiographies and memoirs titled Going Home is a memoir published in the year 1957. African Laughter, Four Visits to Zimbabwe, 1992. Under My Skin, that's the first volume of her autobiography published in the year 1994. Walking in the Shade is the second volume of Doris Lessing's autobiography published in the year 1997. The Wolf People in 2002, 14 poems in 1959. So these are the poetry collections of Doris Lessing. And we can see that the Four Gated City is also one of the most famous, which I mentioned earlier, is actually something that's set in the post-World War scenarios. Like after the World War II, we can see the novel is set into that kind of a location. And so this is about Doris Lessing and her literary career. Yeah. And apart from that, we can see that her fictions are commonly divided into different kinds of phases. Like each of her novels is divided into each phases for something like that. The first phase of her literary career would be called the communist theme, starting from the year 1944 to 1956. The second phase would be psychological theme, starting from the year 1956 to 1969. And the last end of the her career would be Sufi theme that started in the year 1969. So yeah, this is some of the facts that I wanted to share with this author, Doris Lessing.
Okay, that's nice.
So moving on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next we have a French writer in the year 2008, J.N.G. Lake Lesio. Then in 2009, we have Romanian German writer Herta Müller. Then we have in 1930, like 2010, Mario Vargas Llosa. So Mario Vargas Llosa, he was born in Arequipa in Peru. So he was a Peruvian writer. He is a Peruvian politician and writer. So his early life was marked by a complex relationship with his father. He studied literature at San Marcos in Lima and doctored philosophy in University of Madrid. Then his literary career include his famous works like The Time of the Hero, that was his semi-autobiographical novel set in military school in Lima, exploring themes of masculinity, violence, and social inequality. It was published in the year 1963. Then we have The City and the Dogs in 1985. Then The Greenhouse in the year 1965. It's a complex and experimental novel that weaves together multiple narratives and explores the complexities of life in the Peruvian jungle. So next we have Conversation in the Cathedral. It got published in 1969, a monumental novel that dwells into the political and social turmoil of Peru under the dictatorship of Manuel Odria. So then next we have Aunt Julia and the script writer in the year 1977. It's also a semi-autobiographical novel by him. It tells the story of a young man's infatuation with his older aunt and his burgeoning career as a writer. Next, we have the War of the End of the World in 1981 and The Dream of the Celt in 2010. Also, The Feast of the Goat in the year 2000. It's a historical novel that examines the brutal dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo in the Dominican Republic. Also, he also won Miguel de Cervantes Prize in the year 1994, and also Prince of Asturias Award for Literature in the year 1986. So it was awarded for his significant contributions to Spanish language literature. Also, he have some political views that evolved from time, moving from a leftist stance to a more liberal and conservative position. Also, he holds both Peruvian and Spanish citizenship. It seems he has taught at the universities in Peru, Europe, and even United States, for that matter. And Vargas Llosa is a member of the Peruvian Academy of Language and the Royal Spanish Academy. So that's it about Mario Vargas Llosa.
So yeah, in the year 2011, we have a Swedish writer who got the Nobel Prize named Thomas Tranströmer. And in 2012, we have Chinese writer Mo Yan who got the Nobel Prize in Literature. Moving on, we have Alice Ann Munro who got the Nobel Prize in the year 2013. And the lifespan runs up to from 1931 to 2024. Yeah, she recently died, I guess. So, so Alice Ann Munro is a Canadian short story writer and a Nobel Prize winner, and she's also the first Canadian writer to ever get a Nobel Prize. And she also got a Man Booker International Prize in 2009 for her lifetime body of work. And it looks like her short stories have been said to be embedded more than announcing or revealing more than the parade. Something like this is the quotation or a claim that people used to give when Alice Munro is mentioned. So most of Munro's stories set in her native Huron County in southwestern Ontario, Canada. And Cynthia Ozick called Alice Munro as our Chekhov. So Chekhov is someone who is famous for for his short stories, and it looks like she is also regarded as the master of contemporary short stories as well. So the first collection of Alice and Munro was Dance of the Happy Shades in the year 1968. That highly acclaimed short story collection of Alice Munro, and she won Canada's highest literary prize, Governor General's Award, for this short story collection. She then published Lives of Girls and Women 1971, a collection of interlinked short stories, and in 1978, her collection of interlinked short stories, What Do You Think You Are, was also published, and for this she got her second Governor General's Award. And in 2006, she was like her story, The Bear Came Over the Mountain, that was actually a short story collection, but it was adapted for movies as well. And Dear Life is also one of the short stories of Alice and Munro, which was published in the year 2012. Her short story compilation that uh, like we have two short story compilations of Alice and Munro. They are No Love Lost in the year 2003, Vintage Munro in the year 2004. So her other famous short stories are The Progress of Love, Friend of My Youth, The Love of a Good Woman, Runaway, Too Much Happiness, The View from Castle Rock. So all these are her famous short stories. And she's a short story writer who to get a Nobel Prize, and she's the one who acclaimed to be the most contemporary short story writers and like overpowering other Canadian writers as well. Yeah. So moving
Okay.
on.
Yeah. Next, we have a French novelist in the year 2014, Patrick Modiano, and in 2015 we have Belarusian journalist and essayist Svetlana Alexeyevich, and in the year 2016 we have American famous singer and songwriter Bob Dylan. I think for his lyrics they have given the award, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is for his lyrics. He got the
Yeah.
Nobel Prize in Literature.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
He
that's
is also
nice.
someone similar to Winston Churchill who got Nobel Prize in Literature, and they both are not into writings, something like that.
Okay, that's informative. Okay. Next, in 2017, we have Japanese British novelist and screenwriter Kazuo Ishiguro. So he's a highly acclaimed British novelist and screenwriter, as we all know. He's known for his emotionally resonant and intellectually engaging works. Uh, like he was born in 1954 in Nagasaki, Japan. He is still a living author. As we all know, he holds both Japanese and British citizenship. His notable works include The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go, Clara and the Sun. Do you know the work Clara and the Sun?
I think I have heard of that work. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is a kind of scientific sci-fi novel, I guess. And his style includes his style characterized by understated prose, unreliable narrators, and also exploration of memory, identity, and loss. Next, like and also other works like A Pale View of Hills in the year 1982. I think Remains of the Day got a Booker Award, I guess, Booker Prize, I guess, in the year 1989, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and other work, An Artist of the Floating World in the year 1986, that also got a Whitbread Book of the Year award in the year 1986 itself. And also The Unconsoled in the year 1995, The Saddest Music in the World 2003, The White Countess in the year 2005, and Never Let Me Go in 2005. And he also co-wrote the screenplay for the film Living in the year 2022, which was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. And his novels have garnered widespread praise for their literary merit and insightful exploration of human nature. So, yeah, his works generally known for their masterful storytelling. Yeah, that's it
yeah,
about him.
even this Never Let Me Go is also something that deals with the cloning and biotechnology, something like that.
Okay.
He is someone who touches on all sorts of fields, seems.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Olga Talker Group, a Polish writer again, so that's why the name is different. Yeah. So Olga Namafa Tokarczuk, she was born in the year 1962 and she got the Nobel Prize in the year 2018. She is a writer, a psychologist, and a screenwriter, and she's also someone who writes novels, travelogues, essays, poetries, and some other things. And she's also someone related with the magical realism also. Yeah, so the notable works would include the most the primary work would be the journey of the book of people, the journey of the book people in the year 1993, E.E in the year 1995, Primal and Other Stories in the year 2010. And apart from that, she has also written Flights in the year 2007, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead in the year 2009, Book of Jacob in the year 2014. And she's also got the Man Booker International Prize in the year 2018 and Prix Lord Battalion in the year 2019. She is someone who have much interest in writing works that deals with psychology as well, and she's also a disciple of Carl Jung. That's a new thing I found about her. And the and it seems like she's a very powerful writer also because she was dealing with a lot of psychological themes as well, and she also adapted many films into books, and she wrote on basis of that. And her work House of Day, House of Night, that was published in the year 1998, and that touches on the life in the adopted home. And she also wrote some adventurous novels. Type one such would be, as I mentioned earlier, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. That is actually an adventurous novel or something like picaresque novel which she wrote in the year 2009. Yeah, so that is about Olga Tokarczuk. So the next Nobel awardee would be Peter
Yeah.
Handke.
Mm.
So Peter Handke was born in the year 1942 and he is still a living writer. He is an Austrian novelist and a playwright who got the Nobel Prize in the year 2019. And the notable award, the notable works would be The Goalie's Anxiety at the Penalty Kick in the year 1970, A Sorrow Beyond Dreams in the year 1972, The Left-Handed Woman in the year 1976, and he also wrote Offending the Audience Casper. So these are some of his famous works, and he also was awarded International Ibsen Award in the year 2014, Brothers Carriac Award for Literature in the year 2000, and he's also co-founder of a publishing house in Frankfurt. So he was a screenplay writer and he wrote screenplays for the movies The Wrong Move, Wings of Desire. So he's also someone related with screenplays and something like that. And he actually got a German award titled Georg Buchner Prize in 1973. And in 1999, he was actually undergoing a protest against the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia, and because of that, he returned the award he got for German language. So that is something that I found interesting about the Peter Hanke's life. So yeah, so he is someone very influential in both German as well as Austrian languages. Yeah, moving on.
Okay. In 2020, we have an American poet known for her introspective and emotionally resonant work. She was also an essayist too, and her Nobel uh, sh- she was awarded for her unmistakable poetic voice that with austere beauty makes individual existence universal. So that was his Nobel citation. That was her Nobel citation, and she also even won Pulitzer Prize for poetry in the year 1993 for her collection The Wild Iris, published in the year 1992. She also won National Booker Award for poetry in the year 2014 for Faithful and Virtuous Night, and National Book Critics Circle Award for The Triumph of Achilles. So that was her famous poem, it seems, and Bollingen Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Poetry. She has been a poet laureate of the United States from the year 2003 to 2004, and her famous works include notable works include The Triumph of Achilles, then Ararat, then The Wild Iris, Averno, Faithful and Virtuous Night. Also, first born in the year 1968, the house on marshland in 1975. Then, yeah, and descending figure in the year 1980. Uh, yeah, that's it about Louis Gluck. Then we have in 2021 Abdul Razak Gurna. So he he was a born Tanzanian writer, then becomes a British novelist and academic too. His style include or themes of colonialism, displacement, identity, and experience of refugees and migrants. He also won. He hasn't won any awards until now, but a Booker Prize shortlist for his novel Paradise. His famous works include Memory of Departure in the year 1987 and Paradise in the year 1994 and Sea in 2001, Desertion in 2005 and the Cambridge Companion to Salman Rushdie in the year 2007. So that was edited by him. Then also Afterlives in the year 2020. So then in 2021 only he got the Nobel Prize.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the next we can move on. Next would be Annie Ernaux. The full name would be Annie Therese Blanche Ernaux. She is a French writer who got the Nobel Award in the year 2022. And people have mentioned that he got the award for the courage and clinical acuity with which he uncovers the roots, estrangements, and collective restraints of personal memory. It looks like her literary works, like it deals with autobiographical majorly, and it maintains close links with sociology as well. So she started her literary career in the year 1974 with an autobiographical novel. In French, it is called Les Armoires Vides. In English translation, it is called as Cleaned Out. So in 1984, she won the Renault Prize for another of her works, La Place, or A Man's Place in the year 1984. And that's also an autobiographical narrative focusing on her relationship with her father and her experiences growing in her small town in France. So it looks like most of her works are autobiographical, and she acclaimed success for her autobiographical, it seems. And she started fiction. Instead of writing fiction, she started writing autobiographical fiction. That's the fact about her. And her works also combine historical and individual experiences as well. So, a novel she wrote about her teenage would be C'est qui descend ou rien, and her marriage it would be La Femme Calais, her passionate affair with an Eastern European man. So that was actually translated into Passion Simple. And she also wrote novels like Shame in the year 1998, The Possession in the year 2008, The Years in the year 2008. So The Years is actually a historical memoir. As I mentioned earlier, she usually writes autobiographical work along with historical significance as well. And in most of her works, Annie Ernaux writes about herself in third person. Like she won't be giving I as a narrator. Instead, she gives she as a narrator. That's also one of the fact about Annie Ernaux. And she also got many awards. Something like in 2008, she got Prix de la Langue Française. In 2009, she got Telegram Readers Prize. In 2016, she got Strega European Prize. Yeah, she also was nominated for International Booker Prize as well in the year 2019, and she won Warwick Prize for Women in Translation in the year 2019 as well. So yeah, that's about Arnie Arna. So moving on.
Yeah, in 2023 we have John Fosse. So he's a Norwegian writer and playwright. He is generally known for his minimalist and introspective style. So he was born in Norway in the year 1959. He's still a living author. His plays, like he had written over 40 plays until now to his name. Some of the notable works include Someone Is Going to Come, then The Name, The Guitar Man, and A Summer's Day. His novels and several novels include Red Black, Melancholia 1 and 2, then Morning and Evening, and he also written a series named Septology series. So his other works include Red Black in the year 1983, Stringed Guitar in 1985, then Angel with Water in His Eyes. It's a collection of poems by him. Then From Telling via Showing to Writing. It's a collection of essays. I Am the Wind in it's a play by him. Then Strong Wind is a play by him. Then A Shining. It came out only in 2023. It's also a play by him. Then he is considered one of the leading figures in contemporary Norwegian literature. So, generally, he wrote in themes like isolation, alienation, identity, and search for meaning in life. Then he won many awards and recognitions like Ibsen Prize for his contributions to Norwegian drama, then Nordic Council Literature Prize for the Septology series, then other awards like uh, yeah, that's it about him. Then also one thing is that his his works have been translated into over 50 languages. So maybe that was a main and major reason for him to got the Nobel Prize. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, we have the last or the recent Nobel laureate named Hong Kong, a South Korean writer who got the Nobel Prize in the year 2024. He was born in the year 1970 and he's still a living South Korean writer. Yeah. So it looks like she's also a professor of Seoul Institute of Arts and she teaches creative writing there. And her fame rose to international prominence for her novel The Vegetarian, which she published in the year 2015, like a translated version by Deborah Smith. So yeah, so that was the first Korean language novel to win the International Booker Prize for fiction in 2016, and she also was awarded Nobel Prize in Literature, and as she marks as the first for an Asian woman and for a Korean to win a Nobel Prize. So yeah, so she has also have received many prizes like E Song Literary Award in 2005, Prix Médecine Étrangère in 2023, and I mentioned two other prizes, International Booker Prize and Nobel Prize earlier. Yeah. So she also published a book in the year 2007 titled A Song to Sing Calmly, and that was accompanied by a music album. So it looks like she published the work and it was converted into a song, and that was like becoming a like that became a music album as well. So that was about a book published by Hong Kong, and apart from that, she has also published a short stories titled Yosu in the year 1995, and in 2011 she published Greek Legends, and in 2016 she published White Book. So all these are the works written by Hong Kong, and one more thing would be The Vegetarian. It's like that's a novel that was actually adapted into a movie as well, and in 2009 it was adapted into South Korean movie. The only thing is the novel was published before itself, but the translated version was available after 2015. It's 15 as well. Yeah, so that was the famous work of Hong Kong, and apart from that, in 2016 she also published Human Acts. That's also her work she published, which was available in English as well. So English version was also available for the upcoming or the recent works of Hong Kong. And the White Book, which I mentioned earlier, so that was also shortlisted for International Booker Prize, and that's an autobiographical novel. So it deals with how an elder sister, a baby who died 2 years after her birth, so something like that deals with autobiographical elements of the writer as well. And in 2021, she published a novel titled We Do Not Part. So that is a story of a writer researching the 1948-49 Jeju uprising and its impact on her friend's family. So that is also something historical kind of a novel based on a true. incident. And yeah, so in 2024, Hong Kong short story Heavy Snow was published by the 18 November 2024 issue of the New Yorker as well. So we can see that her works are getting popularized after she got the Nobel Award, I guess. Because of that, her novels are also translated into English as well. So yeah.
Yeah, the Hallyu wave, we can see that.
Hmm. Yes.
Not only the songs and the dramas we are going to see, but hereafter we are going to read their literature too because of this
Yeah. So that's
award.
the
Yeah,
biggest achievement for South Korean people.
definitely.
Yeah. So yes, we have covered the 24 years of Nobel Awards.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, with this, let's end the Nobel Award series. So, let's
Yeah.
see.
So with this, we end this Nobel session,
Yeah,
and they will start a new series of English literature or world literature.
yeah, sure, sure, definitely. And just and definitely thank you, you guys who are with us for the entire three videos. Thank you so much for you. And yeah, and don't forget to tune in to our channel every weekend. We are going to post our videos every weekend. So with that, let's finish.
So until then,
Annyeong.
안녕.